Hi, Catalina here. I was going to film earlier, but I'm really glad I waited because the news just came out literally about 20 minutes ago that President Biden is extending the student loan payment pause. So I want to talk about that first. Then I want to talk about the recent email that went out to those who applied for the 10 to 20,000 of forgiveness. So first and foremost, President Biden I watched it on Twitter actually, but he went on to announce that he is extending the payment pause until June 30th of 2023, and that payments will not continue until 60 days after that, awaiting the courts to essentially respond to the lawsuits that required the government to take down the application for the $10,000 to $20,000 of relief. In fact, if you were part of the pool of 26 million people that applied for relief, a good amount of us, about 16 million of us, received, had actually been reviewed by the Department of Ed to qualify for the $10,000 to $20,000 of relief. The reason I bring this up is because those who were actually approved received an email that looks something like this. I will share it with you. So as soon as essentially this lawsuit is stopped, we will already be one of the approved applications for the $10,000 to $20,000 of relief. So this is an email to me. I got approved. This email provides you with an update on the one-time student loan debt relief plan under President Biden, and I announced on August 24th. Basically, they reviewed my application and that I'm eligible for loan relief under this plan. We have sent this approval to your loan servicer. You do not need to take any further action. Unfortunately, a number of lawsuits have been filed challenging the program, which have blocked our ability to discharge your debt at present. We believe strongly that the lawsuits are meritless and the Department of Justice has appealed on your behalf. Your application is complete and approved, and we will discharge the approved debt if and when we prevail in court. So it's interesting, they say if and when we prevail in court. We will update you when we have any new developments. The Biden-Harris administration is committed to helping borrowers as they recover from the pandemic. Education is a great equalizer, and I'll never stop fighting for you. In service, Miguel Cardona, U.S. Secretary of Education. I wanted to share this letter because it's very political, right? It's not just your debt's been approved, but the administration is going to work tirelessly for you. It's very, very political. Reminds me of when we got the $1,000 checks. Remember during the pandemic, we received those $1,000 checks? It was literally like a letter signed by President Trump. That's like, thanks, basically something like, thanks to me, you're getting this $1,000 check. It was like, it's again, very super political. So I want to, of course, acknowledge that I predicted that the payment pause would not get extended. So, oh boy, was I wrong. I thought that this lawsuit would be expedited. We'd have answers just because the payment pause has been extended so many times, right? Not that I wish for us to get kicked into repayment without getting debt relief. So I'm 100%. I'm 100% with the borrower since I am myself a borrower. I just wanted to share that letter and acknowledge that I was wrong on the one-time debt relief, and of course it getting extended till June now, 30th of 2023. So this means the lawsuits are anticipated to take much more time than I had thought, because the news that it was expedited, I anticipated that it wouldn't take until June 30th, but we'll see, right? We will see what happens. There's a lot of political pundits that I follow, like on the Hill, that believe that Biden set up this program to fail because the legal authority of this program he used with some act after 9/11, whereas he could have just used the Higher Education Act as a justification for debt relief. So obviously I'm not like a legal expert when it comes to all these acts and what the president should use to justify the debt relief. But I do agree with the political pundits were saying, if he just basically said, we're just going to relieve everybody's student debt right now, who meets this criteria based on our records. And there was not even an application, that they just literally just relieve the debt. Then the reason it's delayed is because they say it's a very hard type of legislation, and once the debt is forgiven, it's very hard once they relieve our debt to claw it back or to tell you owe it again. So it's extremely hard to reverse the decision once the debt relief is given. So that's why I think those that were not in support of the plan were trying to file lawsuits as quickly as possible to get it to stop, right? But if the president just said, we're going to relieve this debt right now with a stroke of this pen, the debt is gone, then these Republican states and these 6 Republican-led states would have had no time to file any lawsuits because the debt would have been gone. It would have been just discharged, right? That day, we send it to you, by the time it actually made it through the court, even if it took 3 days, the debt would have already been relieved. It would already been a program promise. And even if not all the debt was immediately discharged, then a good amount of it would have been, and call it a day, right? Then it would have been kind of like this political aftermath. So that's what the political pundits were saying. If he really wanted to forgive student debt, he would have just done that and not made this application process. And even though it wasn't a hard application, but time for the Republicans to challenge the legislation. So I thought that was a super interesting point, which is, I never really went into this thinking Biden had bad intentions, but the way he sets it up, it's either, they said, it's either incompetence or they don't want the debt relief to actually occur. And when you read the email, it says if and when, right? If this debt gets relieved. So I'm just saying at this point, it's up in the air if this will happen. I like to believe yes, because obviously I would benefit myself, but you never know what, we have more conservative courts. We'll see, it seems like it's going to go all the way to the Supreme Court, and it will set a huge precedent for, all future possibilities of student loan debt relief, as well as affects how the United States thinks about financing our higher education. So I clearly, for my personal interest, would love the debt relief to go through. We will see, as well as the interest of all the people we serve here at LoanSense, but we will see what ends up coming down through this legislation. But once again, let's cheer, let's raise the roof, woo woo, for getting that additional extension. I say that not because I want to sound like, oh, I took out debt and I don't want to pay it back, but because this, I don't know if you think about this way, but I want to put it in these terms. The time we are not paying gets count for loan forgiveness, number one. So if you're an IDR or PSLF, it counts towards loan forgiveness, number one. So that's a positive benefit. Number two is interest is not accruing. So it does not harm us to not pay this debt right now. And in fact, it helps us because we can use our money to pay other things, to increase our savings, to save for a down payment, to do, as long as you are using the money wisely, to advance your financial goals, right? Then it's actually quite positive. I mean, the pause is a form of relief. So let's be thankful for that, since it is Thanksgiving week. I want to wish you all happy Thanksgiving. Please do not be selfish with this news, this update. If you have friends, family affected by student loans and they could use this news, please do share with them this update. And I hope you take care of yourself on this holiday and long weekend. And we wish you the best. Please share it. Please subscribe and please like if you've liked this content. And I will see you again next week.